lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and back with me again, my boy Dr. Ben Anthony, here to talk some comics. We're going to talk the Brigade #1 Remastered edition that came out as of this recording a couple weeks ago. Super stoked to talk about it with you. I'm glad that you brought it up because I was going to record an episode by myself, and I wasn't feeling good the other day, so I didn't do it, but I'm glad we can talk together because I know you're a Liefeld fan, much like myself.
Yeah.
Super stoked to have you back on, dude.
For sure. It's always a pleasure to be here, sir. It's always fun. You know, I was definitely like, I was on the fence about getting this.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't planned to. And then the week that it came, was it like last week or the week before? When it came out, it was like, that's when I saw that it also has
Airborne, yeah.
Airborne. I was like, okay, I gotta get it. Whatever. If he's starting a whole new thing, like, because that's been Rob's issue is that he doesn't have he doesn't have the license to Youngblood, but I guess he does have the license to Brigade.
So he has Brigade, Prophet. He doesn't have Supreme. He doesn't have Youngblood. He has Bloodstrike, I believe. I think he has like Glory and stuff like that. I don't know. I can't remember. The ones I know he doesn't have are Youngblood and Supreme. Like those are the two main ones that I know he can't use,
right.
Which kind of sucks. I was stoked for the Prophet one. I think we should do an episode that I was actually when I was planning to record, I was going to do both of them at the same time, but I feel like they each deserve kind of their own episode.
Sure, for sure.
But yeah, I was stoked on this too, mostly because like the people he has coming in, like he started that when he did that Snake Eyes book where he had people inking over him,
right,
which was really cool. But yeah, this one I was pretty stoked on. I like the design of like on the cover, like the new cover that he did is really dope.
Yeah.
And I actually had this a week or two before it came out because I don't know anybody, if you're watching and listening, if you go on Whatnot, but Rob's on Whatnot, and it's almost like an extension of Robservations. And I mean that dude, but he's like kind of like not unhinged is the wrong word, but he's like unfiltered on Whatnot, and he just it's sometimes I just go on not to buy something, just to listen to him. But he did have the Brigade ones early, so I picked up a signed copy of it. So, but he asked everybody, or I think I posted, and he's like, don't say anything till after the release date. He like commented back on that. He's like, just save all the details so until everybody has a chance to read it. So like that's why I didn't do the episode sooner. But yeah, let's get into this, dude.
Yeah, like I definitely, that is like obviously like the whole draw is like having what is this, like 50? No, I don't know. It's like what, 20 different people or whatever, all doing their own interpretations of the pages.
Yeah, it's about 20 because I think there's some overlap too.
I don't know if you noticed this. Like you've got your copy with you or whatever.
Yeah, I got it in my hand. Yeah.
It doesn't list who is page 11. Like I don't know if you see this, what I'm saying? It goes down.
Yeah, it's because it's because page 11 is a letter that Rob wrote.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he wrote a letter, like it's like he's talking about like, as I sit here at my computer looking over the files, well, so on and so forth, and he's just kind of like saying, talking about Brigade's 30th,
No. Okay. Like I looked at that like a ton of times, and I was like, it doesn't say who's page 11. What the hell?
I mean, I guess you could say it's Rob then at that point.
It's just high or something. I don't know. Because that's what I'm saying. Like I remember like checking the pages and like counting them, and I was like, he skipped somebody. Who's the poor guy that got skipped? Okay, so I'm just the one thing I remember, because I remember like I wanted to bring the issue that it's remastering, but I thought it was this one, and it's definitely not. Like this is like the first issue of like the ongoing Brigade series, and it's that other one that has like I don't have it, so I can't show you, but like I just, because I remember reading it. It must have been like back in the day, like, like me and my friends, we all got like all the different image stuff. And I think
Yeah.
that might have been one of the ones that I didn't get, but that like I read of like my buddies or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you say, because I also have that Brigade #1 that you just showed. And that was my first Brigade one that I got. I didn't get the actual first Brigade until like, and I thought that was the #1 for such a long time. And then, as I, during the pandemic, especially when I went back and got a lot of early 90's image that I never had, um, I saw that one. I'm like, oh, that's the #1. So like I didn't even get it till like a year and a half ago. But I can't. I've gotten so many comics over the last couple of years. I just couldn't find it before we jumped on to talk.
But I mean, the thing that I love with this, and I think they might do it in that. Oh, they don't. I guess it doesn't. The thing that I love about this is their you know the data entry logs, right?
Yeah.
Like because they explain everything. So I know like other people have talked about how to get like the whole story of like all the different comics, like the Youngblood comic and everything was like you had to read like all the previews and interviews where like they would like explain whatever was going on. So I kind of wonder if he maybe like learned something from that back then and was like, okay, what, first issue, make sure I, like explain everything that's going on.
Yeah. I think it's important to say too, like originally this was like Rob wrote it, but Marat Mychaels was the original artist on the first Brigade. I just think it's cool like to see all these people's different interpretations of the original issue, much like what we got with Prophet. Like some people are doing different angles in terms of what we're seeing, right? Some
Right.
pages are completely different from the original, at least like the Prophet one for sure. And it's kind
I
of cool
like
just to see who I mean wanted to be a part of it, like to
right.
see. Obviously these are people that were fans of it, like Victor Bogdanovich. Like he's kind of more of a recent artist that over the last couple of years that I've learned about, mostly through DC is what he was drawing over there.
Okay.
Dietrich
Okay.
Smith, I know him from some of his like early. I know he worked in Extreme, I believe, and did some image stuff late 2000s. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it's pretty dope getting to see like Clayman. Like
Right.
that was such a random get. Like I just wasn't expecting that at all.
I like that he's got, like despite, it's like all these different people. And I mean, they don't have like like extremely different styles. You know what I mean? Like it's not like one page looks like Sam Keith and the next page is, looks like Jim Lee or something. But he's got like the same colorist to do all of it. This Juan Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives it like a real nice like continuity through the whole thing. Though it does kind of look like maybe like with Piskor's page here, he might because those definitely look like his colors. He put in like the little Ben-Day dots and whatnot.
Right.
And the same thing with Jim Rugg's page. It looks like he probably did the colors for that himself,
Yeah, it does. It just
and
doesn't.
probably Scioli too, obviously. Like
It's I think so, but then again, it says colors Juan Rodriguez
or
overall.
it could have been too like
Like, are they just working with each artist? Like, because that seems like a lot of work for one colorist to have to ask each individual artist. Because you do want to have some sort of a cohesiveness in terms of like the coloring, right? You don't want it to be
right.
super drastic. And none of these pages feels like there's a huge difference unless,
Exactly.
like
That's what I'm saying, is it's got that.
but it feels like Piskor for sure.
Yeah, let me go back to his. That's what I'm saying. With his, it's definitely like I said, he's doing the whole, like the retro, the aged looking paper and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been too like he might have just sent him his own color files like to the colorist and been like, if you got to switch up something or whatever, just here's like my guide or something. I think that's what they used to do when they before it was like digital coloring. They would
Yeah.
do like color guides to show like how it was supposed to be colored, so that way when they used to be that they would cut out like the actual, like the color plates and stuff. Like
Right.
so they would, so it's almost kind of like, I wonder if maybe that might have been with some of them, like that's maybe what they might have done, track them down, or see if Ed and Jim do their own go over this themselves. That the other thing I really noticed with and this might just show my own like ignorance of different people. I'm
Some of them
thinking
I
like,
recognize, but also there's people that aren't necessarily household names either, you know.
right,
But I know
like
from like the Liefeld group, the Extreme group, like Raymond Leonard. Like I don't, maybe the average person doesn't necessarily know his work because he does a lot of self-published stuff and like crowdfunding. But I know he's in the group and he posts a lot. And I know like Rob did a cover for one of his projects. I think it's called like Agent Solo or something. Um, Paul Scott, I recognize. Ron Williams, I feel like I know that name, but I can't put my finger on it, you know?
right. There was one like I had just seen, and I was trying to find it to to like reference it during this, but I had found or I had seen like one of the guys that was in this. I want to say it was either maybe this Corey Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe that Ron Williams. I'm not quite sure. This new guy that like I said, like I've never heard of, and I just thought that was cool. It was like he was, because I mean, that's the other thing that with Liefeld is that he's given so many people their sort of like break into the industry. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure. I mean, you got two of them right there, Marat Mychaels, Dan Frega. I mean, I think Carl Allsetter was. I mean, maybe that was
right.
Rob. I'm not sure. I know he was part of Extreme.
Yeah. He had been in, what was it, like Harris Comics or something for a little bit.
Yeah, he
I've
did. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember the ads in Wizard. Uh,
right.
Q
I've
something.
got one of them. Yeah, Q
Yeah,
Unit.
Q
Like it
unit.
comes with a little a card that has like a red film, so you can decode different parts of the comic or something.
Yeah.
Like he was there for a couple issues, and then the next thing he was doing, he was over at Extreme Studios with the rest of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like just being able to see that like Rob's continuing that. I think that's always just a good sign of just like trying to give back. You know what I mean? Like if you've been, I mean, obviously Rob is still near the top of his game. I mean, and rather than just like sitting there and being like, what, I'm just going to do the whole Brigade book by myself, redraw. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's bringing people in, and okay, this is the other question, right? Like I've got a whole bunch of the Bloodstrike issues too, and I know that there's a whole interaction between Youngblood and Brigade and Bloodstrike,
Right.
and I know it's the leader of Bloodstrike is this guy's brother, right? This is Battlestone,
Yeah.
and his brother is
Cabot.
Cabot
Yeah.
Stone, and both of them have
The
these
skull
goof.
things.
Yeah, what are those?
I don't know. I just
Like,
accept it. You know, like I don't
yeah,
really
I
get
mean,
the point of it. Yeah.
I've always loved them. I thought what isn't that what Mystique has too, like from
Yes.
X-Men?
Yes, she does.
Like, and it's the same thing. It's like right in the middle of her, like at the front of her hairline or whatever.
Right.
Like, is it supposed to be almost like a barrette, or like is it like a, I don't know, because like hair is coming out like underneath it here. I don't understand. Like, I think it's cool. I've always thought it was cool, but I don't understand what it is. I
Yeah.
don't.
Like I said, like certain costume choices with stuff, I just accept. I'm like,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like this thing it
yeah.
starts
I
off.
got it on the screen on my share screen too. Like I'm looking at the.
Oh, you got okay.
I don't know if you can
Oh,
see.
cool. That
Can you
yeah,
see
yeah,
it?
I can see. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So like you can see like the different choices. Like in the original, you don't even see Battlestone, his face, right? Like you're getting completely different like angles in terms of the way this fight is. You know, Cold Snap, you don't see his face. He's like facing
Right.
the other way.
Right. Yeah, and
And
that's Cold Snap there, and then that is
that's Seahawk, right?
Seahawk, yeah,
Right.
out of costume.
Out of costume. Right. So you don't, and like Seahawk's coming in from the opposite side in the remaster version. And I think that to me that's, and even like the way the panel structure is, you know, you see like it's a full double page splash, and then the two panels are like longer panels instead of just being completely on top of each other off to the side, which I think was a good choice, you know, that Dietrich Smith did this double page.
Yeah.
And it's just like way more detailed instead of it just being like a sky background and they're on a hill. Like you got a full blown.
Right. You can actually see like their whole, that's their headquarters or little
Yeah.
getaway or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a lot better. You know, like it starts off and it just has him running, and then it's like you get to see like, okay, this is where he's. Oh shit! You know, he's running and comes back to them. Is it their? Yeah, they're brothers. Seahawk and Cold Snap are brothers.
Right.
So that's the other thing that I think. I think there was some sort of brother family thing in like Youngblood too. But so I like that with this too, is that like I said, how there's this the whole connection between Brigade and Bloodstrike and Youngblood, and it's you know it's like he was really just using the things that like everyone knows. You know what I mean? Like like you're growing up, you're fighting, you get along, you're arguing. You know what I mean? Like it's something that everyone can like relate to,
Right.
and
Yeah, no, I think it adds to a cool dynamic always when there's like, especially when they have two completely different personalities going, you know?
right, right,
And then look, you know, like you go to the next page, look, it's again, completely different shot. You don't even have them in the background, you know? But I think that that's, you know, like to be able to change it and allow the artists to do their own interpretation. And some artists completely adhere to what was there before. But I think that it keeps it so it's like without it just being looking at it the same book drawn differently, same panels, same layouts, everything. It
right.
makes a different experience when you read both.
This was the only thing I had here was that this is thermal, right? She can control and manipulate ambient heat energy.
Yeah.
But like the phone cord,
It
it
goes
looks like
all it goes all the way down to the right
right.
corner with the biggest buttons that I've ever seen.
It's
Look
like
at how big those buttons are on that phone. That's
those are
clearly
those
somebody that was
those
not around when those kind of phones were around.
that's what I'm saying. Like because I mean definitely like if you remember having those like those twisty phone cords, like I mean they were just a nightmare anyways,
Oh my god, dude, they'd always get tangled. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like nothing wrong with the drawing or anything, but it's like he should have like put that like times like 10, you know what I mean, to have all these loops. Because I mean that's how I remember any of those phone cords was just
Yeah, if they were like
twisted and
that,
tangled everywhere.
right, right. If that phone cord was that stretched out, you know, like that's an old ass phone. By that point, you've been pulling that phone into another room while you
Yeah,
were on the phone.
going
But
around the corner with it. And yeah. But yeah, and that's you know what I mean. Like I said, that's not even like a gripe. That's just like I'm
that
assuming
is a
that
funny observation though, because you know, on the
r-
first go through, I didn't even like pay attention to that. But now
yeah.
I'm never gonna unsee that when I look at that page.
So I'm assuming that means that Ryan Kincaid is a lot younger than he's not a senior citizen like me, you know.
And then the next page is just kind of like simple, not like a whole ton going on, but again, like changing Raymond Leonard on pencils, Paul Scott on inks on that one, and switched it up a little bit, you know. Next page again is where you go to the next one. That's where like it's completely different from the original. completely different shot. The panels are completely different. I do like the choices they did on the remaster though. I don't think that close up of their faces in the original.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's an interesting choice, you know.
right.
But I like the way they went with this, where you
So is
see the
that
full bodies, you know.
the close up on their faces? Is that this panel?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay. Calm down. Yeah. Okay.
right. And then you just in the panel below, all you see is their arms, right? Like cradling the Sia and Cold Snap, you know, just walking away. So that's a little, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
that is kind of a
weird.
goofy, like, yeah, like you said, like kind of cradling it on. It looks like, I don't even know if I would have realized that was their arms. Like I probably would have been confused. Been looking at that like as a kid. I would have just been like, what is happening? Like, what am I?
Yeah.
But I like that he kept it, like being able to see it, like compare him here. Like it's like he kind of kept the same thing, but he put it in a better, kind of like almost kind of like just like a ground level view. So we still see Battlestone and wait, so that's those are the two brothers, and then that's what Atlas or whatever the other guy that's with him. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's
Yeah,
like he
Battlestone and
reinterpreted
Seahawk are
that
going
with
at it.
the yeah, he reinterpreted it to make it like just more clear. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like it, I like it, and it's these two are both by the same person, right? This is 6 and 7. So this is yeah. So this is Ron Williams doing both of these.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, and then he kind of fixed up the way that I don't know, say fixed up, but he kind of like changed up a little bit less probably in the next page. I think that one adheres a little bit more. He just kind of moved the panels around and played with I mean, zoomed in on Battlestone as he's standing
Right.
instead of a faraway shot. Next page is it's Liefeld. Who inked him on that? Oh no, that's not Liefeld. That's Paul Scott.
Right. That's Paul Scott doing this whole thing.
Looks like Rob a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It's got like
And it doesn't say Rob inked it, but I would imagine he probably did because it looks like him. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to guess, but that one's I mean,
right.
that's basically very it completely same. It didn't change at all. But then you got this Clayman piece, and I think his choice was way more dynamic than than the shot we get here. I like the upward angle that we get on the team.
Yeah, I remember like I distinctly remember like that pose that they has there that like Battlestone and Cold Snap have where they're kind of like puffing their chest out and like leaning back at the same time. Like I distinctly remember that just being like I I don't know how to describe it. Like just being like just like seeing that and being like, wow, what okay. Like it just you know what I mean? Like it's got like the old one has just sort of a I don't know how you describe that. Like cuz it's not like it's like a bad drawing, but it's definitely you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like just like an awkward pose.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's not very intimidating.
Right,
You
right.
know?
That's it.
I don't know. It's not like it it feels more cohesive in the Clayman version, like what he
Yeah.
does, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's stuff. Like that's the thing too is I love if you're going to have like with Atlas, his power is that he grows bigger, right? He goes from like a regular sized guy to like giant size. Like
Right.
you've got to play with that like
Oh yeah.
every chance you can. You know what I mean? Like and that's what I'm saying. Like Clay did that here, and it's just like you said. It's just it's like an imposing picture of them. They're here. They come. They're ready to go, and
Yeah.
it's what is it? They're coming because Maruko Tower has been completely surrounded by or no, it's been taken over by by terrorists or whatever. Explode if their demands are not met, and Youngblood is absent, so that's why and that's the other thing that it kind of like. I like that he like peppers in like little parts of the story without explaining all of it. At the beginning, it had Battlestone talking about how, or when in his data log or whatever, explained like he had been on Youngblood, and I don't. It didn't explain like why he was gone or why he
Mm-hmm.
had left Youngblood, but now he has the Brigade team, so it's like. So that's what they're coming in. Youngblood isn't there to handle this group of terrorists or whatever. Here they go. They're showing up, and then we get Frag a Boom here doing.
Yeah, he killed it. I really like the new page. Not that the old one's bad by any means. I like both, but I love because I hate that they cover the face. I noticed that a
Oh
lot
yeah,
with comparing like the original to the remaster is that the faces are either faced away from us or covered in certain battle scenes or action scenes rather. I do think though in the new one the face the face that the guy in the
this
bottom
guy
right corner
covered.
yeah it's hilarious. The new version is it cracks me up.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah. And then like we said page 11 was the whole letter from Rob, which I think is pretty dope, him reflecting on the 30 years and
Yep.
here's to 30 more. Here's to 30 more, and I'm so glad. I mean, we'll get to it after we finish through this,
Yeah.
but that he's coming back to do a new image book. And then we got this double page splash.
What I just on his page of discussing this here,
Yeah,
it really makes me wish that the other guys would do something similar to this, like do
yeah.
like a Cyberforce remastered or like a Spawn 1 remastered. Could you imagine that? That would just be like Todd has to be thinking that, but I'm sure like because they Todd and Rob have their they're sort of like I don't know if you put it at like friendly rivalry, but you know what I mean. Like
The
I'm sure he's like,
competitive, there's a competitiveness
yeah, yeah,
yeah. But I think for some reason I feel like I don't want to like saying they're above it, maybe is the wrong way to phrase it. But I feel like they're just like at this point in their career, they're just doing their thing. I don't think they have that same drive to compete against one another because they've already made their name. Like they are who they are at this point in their career, and they're all fucking legends for what they've brought to the with their creative stuff and then just like creating image. So I don't think they necessarily they're each doing their own thing. Like not everybody did stuff. I mean, Todd kind of got early on it expanding the Spawn line, right? Like
right.
that was kind of leading into the 30th all of last year. And then like Eric hasn't done anything. I know he's got that ultimate collection of Savage Dragon that he's going to start doing the hardcovers,
Well, and
which
he did give he gave the okay for that
oh, the fan book, the by the yeah, by the
Sa- Savage Freaks,
and
is that what it's called?
Super Freaks.
Super Freaks, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of the guys that are either in that group, I know some of the people that like do the podcast, the Savage Fincast. I know that they
Right.
were a part of that. Yeah, that was a cool thing. But I mean, like him himself, I was hoping. I think I asked him when I interviewed him. I think I interviewed him during this past year, and I said, "Are you going to do anything?" He's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Do something, dude. Like even do
Right.
like a facsimile because he did facsimiles of the original appearances of Dragon." But I was like, "Why don't you do something, with the original Savage Dragon, like remaster it or something, new coloring or
Right.
whatever?" But he didn't obviously, and we've already seen the solicitations for December, so there's nothing going on there. But
Right.
well, but this page, let's talk about this double page splash. The new splash
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
is
Like
where it's at.
that's what I mean. Like this.
And I mean, but this is also Marat Mychaels, so he is redoing his own splash page.
Yeah, this one is definitely. I mean, just comparing this with the old one. I mean, like I said, with Atlas. I mean,
It's a way,
the
yeah, it's
old
way
one.
better.
I mean, he just looks like like just a Godzilla-sized monster. Just like imagine just looking out the top of a skyscraper and there's just a giant head. All these other dudes jumping in, like,
Yeah, no,
I
it's
mean, I
definitely
would.
a way more dynamic shot for sure.
I like, I love with Seahawk because like he was one of the characters I was drawing a bunch in Image Grand Design
Hmm.
Disaster and everything, and like all the pictures of him, it's like anytime they're going into battle or like doing anything, he's just like he has this like crazy jumps that he does where it's like it's almost like a Spider-Man pose, but not quite as like tangled up. But you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like he's got his one leg out here, knee down here, his arms out. And like if you look through like appearances of him, like he's always just has like these just nutty like jumps that he's doing. So that's just a personal thing. I love seeing
Yeah, no, I love Seahawks design too. I mean, I like a lot of these costume designs from back in the day.
oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay, so the next one is
Next one
Corey
is
Corey
Corey
Hampshire.
Hampshire. Yeah, I really like Ed's page. I like Corey
Yeah,
Hampshire's page. It's a strong page. I think it's I'm over here looking at the original, and it's definitely a departure completely from the way it's
right.
set up. But I do like it. I think it makes for a better read as you're looking at it visually.
It I that's what I was gonna say too. Like it was one of the pages that like stuck out as like just being a different, like stylistically different. And I don't know if that's maybe just because his like he's got like these weird shaped panels and just like really really thick lines and spots. You know what I mean? Like it just makes it stick out from the other ones. You know what I mean? Everyone seems to have kind of not like a similar style, but there's just something when you get to like this page, it's just more inky looking, I guess. Maybe that's what it is.
It
You know what I
does.
mean?
It
Like,
does look more inky for
and then
sure.
obviously with Piskor's page, I mean,
I know part of me
I
kind of wishes like that I think it would have been cool. I mean, obviously this is because we're cartoonist kayfabe fans, but if we had like one remastered version completely by Ed, one by Jim, and one by Tom, that would be fucking dope. Like just a complete like 90's extreme by Piskor. Like those
that would
ads that were in Bloodstrike Brutalist
right.
by
Oh
Michelle
my,
Buffet. Like all
yeah.
those ads, I want those books, dude. Ben Mara, like please, like let me see these fucking comics. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's who would have been like. I would have just lost my shit if like Ben Mara had been in here too. Like
yeah,
what? Oh my gosh.
yeah. I wonder
I
if
don't.
Rob is even like really familiar with his work, because I know that he's familiar with the kayfabe channel, obviously, right? Like they've had him
Right.
on. Rob being such a huge fan, having a relationship with Jack Kirby, I'm sure he read that book, right, by Scioli. So that probably was on his mind when he was doing this as well. It's not just and probably also, they worked together. The three of them were also on that Snake Eyes book.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that I want to see I hope he does more stuff with this with his extreme verse of characters. I know he's going to do Airborne, but it'd be cool to kind of see him continue to
Yeah.
revisit
I
these.
mean,
I know he's going to finish off the Brigade 2019 book that he did. I think it was crowdfunded.
okay.
It never got finished. I know he's finishing that off. I think, or he's finishing.
Yeah.
There's a Blood Strike book I think that never ended. I think he's like finishing that off. It's going to be collected. I don't know. He said there's a lot of stuff in the
So
works.
so maybe like I think it'd be kind of cool if he did remastered. You know what I mean? Like if he kept this up and did Brigade 2 remastered. And like just I don't know if he already has it in the pipeline or not, but that could be perfect to do. Keep doing like this where bring in a whole bunch of crazy guys to do reinterpret all the stuff.
Yeah, but
I
is
mean,
that
think of how
cost effective? Like, is how much is that going to cost to pay that many different artists for one comic? everybody's got to have different page rates, I would imagine too.
Right.
Right?
And I mean Deadpool 3, I mean, you know, I don't want to I don't want to get into finances, but you know,
Yeah.
I think Rob's doing okay.
Yeah,
You know,
he's probably doing all right. I mean, who knows how Disney's taking care of him, because Disney doesn't like to pay their visual effects artists. So, who knows how they're paying Rob for Deadpool 3. But I know he's got his royalties, right? From That's
yeah,
through Marvel. So, and they can't erase his contract that he's got. But
yeah.
you know,
Did you? I was gonna say, did you see they had the Deadpool head, like the little severed head of Deadpool that's like you can buy that and it talks and stuff.
yeah,
Like that's just insane. Like
it is. I mean, it's funny, but I mean I wouldn't buy it, but it's right in line with Deadpool. So
yeah, I really wanted to at the time, and I was like, I didn't have the extra cash, and like I've been kicking myself,
I know I
kicking
kind of wish I
myself.
would have bought it too. I like this next
Uh,
page by Philip Tan. I think he fucking killed it.
yeah,
I really like his art. He did the last Shadowhawk book that came out in August.
right, right,
So,
and he's also working with Frank Miller Presents too, isn't
oh
he?
yeah, he's
I
doing
believe.
the sequel to Ronin. It
Is it
is.
okay?
Yeah, he's doing the Ronin sequel.
And that was like printed on newsprint. Oh my, that thing was like,
Yeah.
oh, blew me away. But yeah, no, he is again, you know, like highlighting like Seahawk, like he just looks like an insane like just you know he makes me think of like Batman when Batman's like you know just over the edge and like just gone crazy. Like
Hmm.
that's what Seahawk looks like when he's you know when he's doing his thing when he's fighting and just like kicking ass. He has that just crazed look in his eyes, and
Yeah, he looks
that's
badass in this page
that's
for
what I'm
sure.
saying. It. Oh, let's see. Oh, and then the next one is that
Carl
college.
Alstetter,
Yeah,
solid page. I like Rugs coming up. Jim Rugg's page. I was kind of upset in the Prophet one that his page got relegated to the back. I was like, God damn it, dude! Like that would have been cool to have in the book. I mean, at least he didn't not use it though. But I really dig like what Jim does with his ballpoint pen drawings. It's like mixed media stuff. He's always using different tools, and it looks it stands out completely. It doesn't look like any other page in this book,
no. I
and
could. Can
that's what
we?
I love about it.
Can I say too? Like Atlas's teeth.
Yeah.
That's just like the creepiest thing
It's
I
very
have seen.
unnerving. It's very unnerving.
And I was trying to figure out what it reminded me of, like his hair, and it reminds me of the dad from the Brady Bunch's hair, like that, like old, like white guy, like that '70s white guy fro that the guys would have was like white guys would get their hair permed or something. Like it's
Yeah.
so like that's what I'm saying, and like it's not he doesn't look like that in any of the other you know like back on that big splash page by Marat. You know, Atlas's hair is not that white guy perm fro thing at all. So like shout out to Jim Rugg for just going for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can get away with that a little bit because each artist is doing their own interpretation. So even though from one page to the next there might be a little bit of costume tweaks, or something may not really be as cohesive, like in terms of like, his hair and shit, you can get away with it because each
And
artist was told to just do your own thing.
like you could just see him like outside the window. He's looking in there. Like it's just so creepy.
Yeah.
I love he's got like it looks like crayon or something in there, like for the flooring.
Yeah,
It's
I figured that was color pencil or something, or Prismacolor, but yeah, maybe it is.
yeah, it could be colored pencil too. Yeah, like they
Yeah,
both have that kind of I don't know how you describe that, but yeah.
because it looks very textured a little bit. It looks like it's like he had it done on. Oh, is that like Zipatone on the bottom too? In that bottom panel where he's running through?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
that's
like a
called,
little
right? Zipatone?
yeah. And I would assume being Jib Rug, that's probably like actual like Zipatone because
I would
it's
assume, yeah. I mean, even look at the bottom corner, like where he has the number of the page underneath. It's like a little piece of white paper. It looks like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little taped on like page number or something. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's like how it used to look. And when I've looked at some like artist editions from Marvel from like the 80s or 70s or whatever, I've noticed that a lot of the page numbers are like that too, or it's like it looks taped on. I like that he added that little touch.
Before I just have to zoom in on his teeth because that is just so unnerving.
I know it's
they're
okay.
they're not like adult sized teeth either. It's like they're like baby teeth or something in there. Like,
Baby teeth.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that, just it's unnerving, and
Yeah.
I think that's what you got to go for is like just. Oh, you know what I've wondered about that before. I didn't figure out what it was. Like in the textbook, the word balloons and whatnot. Like in
Mhm.
this one, I saw like that weird. There's like this line, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it's
Yeah.
like they're pasted up.
Right.
So that's
Like
like,
it's like I said, like it's exactly in line with comics from back in the day when stuff was hand lettered and they just taped it on after the fact. Like the balloons would be there. I mean, I'm not saying like everything that I've seen, but there was a lot. Like I went through a John Romita artist
right.
edition with Spider-Man, and a lot of the text was like that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't notice. Like I said, I just saw like the line before, and I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that? But okay, like because all the white balloons are like that. Like they have, like pasted in lettering. Like that's pretty cool. And
Let's
what the
jump.
next one?
Let's so the Tom Scioli page. I really dug too. Like his Prophet page was one of my favorites. I don't know if you read the. Did you read the Prophet Remaster too?
I didn't get the profit book.
You should get it. You should pick it up.
I have to.
Yeah, I love. I just love anytime I get new Scioli because like he hasn't really put anything out in store since the Kirby book. I mean, like he has his
Right.
Patreon. He's like online, on huge online presence. But I really dug his page a lot. Going forward, Mike Choi I like Mike Choi's, and then of course like that double page that we end it with right after this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The Mike Choi one is I'm gonna say actually my favorite one in here
Okay.
because it has got
Kind
like
of
the
reminds
top
me of
panel.
Adi Granov a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. Like
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like it almost looks like the top page or the top panel almost looks like action figures or something almost. Like,
Oh yeah, it
I
does.
mean
I
it's
didn't notice that before. It does.
and then him coming out of the rubble there. I don't know how to describe it. Like it looks like chrome or something. I don't know. Like
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
just
he killed it. I love this page too.
and that's yeah. So
It's
that's
Rob.
Rob redoing his own page, or redoing Merritt's page there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he looks just intimidating. I mean, eyes are glowing. It's got blood all over his mouth, and
Super
then
dope. That's it.
Last Shadowhawk and the Prophet Remastered, and then
I hope everybody enjoyed that episode. Thanks
sure.
again, Dr. Ben Anthony, for joining me. And if
Can
you're
I
not already following Comic Lounge, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Comic Lounge. And
follow
yeah,
my thick comics thing on I'm on everything. I'm on like
yeah, I'll drop your
Instagram and
links
right on.
for sure. And then you also have a YouTube channel too, weekly show that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Sam have been going over we did Swamp Thing and then we've been going over this 3-issue Batman story that
Dark Knight, Dark
you
City, right?
yeah, you've read like Invisibles, right? Or,
I have tried, but I haven't finished it.
okay, because there's like like Rick Lopez always puts that red dot, which is supposed to be like Barbalith from Invisibles.
Mm-hmm.
That like Grant Morrison took like that concept of like I don't know, like a conscious city or like a spirit that inhabits a city or something. He got that from the Batman Dark Knight Dark
Oh,
City
okay.
story,
Interesting.
like that whole Barbathos, the demon or whatever.
Yeah.
with Peter Milligan's permission. He didn't like steal it or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so that's, and then Sam's getting the Invisibles omnibus, so we're gonna go over that once that's out. So
Okay.
maybe
Oh,
that'll
cool.
help you figure out how to get into the Invisibles. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right, dude. Well, thanks again for fucking coming on to talk some comics with me. And
All
on that
right.
note, we're out.